Hello shape enthusiasts, welcome back to another episode in our MAM building series. What is a MAM? Well, it's a factory that you build that takes in all the shapes, all the colors, and then uses circuitry to figure out how to piece them together, paint them, and pin them and make the desired shape that you're after. Last episode, we worked on pinning, so we added onto the end of our MAM this new dynamic pin selector. So if any of the part of the shape you want, which is this one, has a pin, it will either take the shape or take the pin and then use that and combine it through our combinator that we built earlier and give you a pin shape. So we've expanded our MAM's capabilities to be able to produce pinned shapes now. So what will we be doing in this episode? Well, I believe we are on the last stage of our single layer shape, which is crystallizing or crystal making, I believe it's called. So we need to be able to figure out how we can add on the crystal layer into our shape. But before we can do that and figure out where to do that, we need to have a solid understanding of how crystal making actually works. So why don't I go back to our home where we have our centralized shape output global wire transmitter. We're going to switch it back over to output the shape from the random operator shape. We're going to use random operator shape 1 and we're going to use that shape as our example shape. I'll hook my MAM up back to the main vortex platform and then we will go do some theory on crystals. For brevity's sake, I've just set up a little area to test some stuff with the crystals, just to see how all the different crystal mechanics interact with each other and all the other tools that we have at our disposal. That way we can decide where we're going to make our crystallization process in our MAM. So first of all, I just got like a regular half shape and I'm just crystallizing it to give it like a half crystal layer over here. And when that comes out, I just wanted to test. So you can cut through a crystal, and as long as you're not cutting directly through the crystal by rotating this 90 degrees, it will retain the crystal shape, which is what we expect. However, if you do try to cut through the crystal, it destroys the crystal portion and any attached crystal portions. Okay, that's the fragility of the crystal at play, and that mechanic's either gonna help us or hurt us. The other way to destroy crystals is by stacking. If you try to drop a crystal onto another thing, the crystal part gets destroyed. So I can capture one of these shapes. You can see this half of the green crystal, because I dropped it on top of this other shape, it's gone now. Similarly with swapping, because it needs to cut it in half, it's going to destroy the crystal part. So there's kind of two schools of thought I was thinking of how we can do crystals and where to put that in our MAM, right? If we look at one of our operator shapes with crystals, we can see these kind of work like quarters, and we can produce quarter crystals by getting some sort of like checkerboard shape like this, and then filling that with a crystal layer, and then we can sort of double cut them, and then we can get two belts of quarter crystals, and then we can fit that the same way we would treat it like a quarter of a shape and just piece it together into the layer, and then that would be our crystal layer, right? Instead of using the crystallizing process, we just create quarter crystals and merge it into our shape the same way we normally would. But I thought about it, and that doesn't quite work, because while that would work for the bottom layer shape, it's not going to work for any other layer shape because of the fact that you can't stack them. As soon as you stack the crystal, it's going to break, right? So say I'm on my second layer and I've managed to take these quarter crystals, merged it back with the rest of my shape, and now I have a crystal layer that looks like this. As soon as I try to stack that on top of the first layer, the crystal's all going to disappear on the second layer. So that is not a good thing over here, as you can see. So that means we have to do the crystallization process after the layer is complete. After the stacking process of each layer, we have to then do the crystallization process. So in our MAM, what does that mean? So if we go back to our MAM, so this thing currently creates a complete layer of shape with pins. We need to do the crystallizing process after all of this is done. Then we'll have a crystal layer. Then we take that crystal layer and stack it with another version of this with pins. Then whatever holes is left, we need to crystallize again on top of that, maybe? Oh, it's going to be so complex, but then the crystal is going to fill any gaps in the shape. So then what happens if you are an empty gap in the layer underneath? I don't know. How do you stack a crystal shape on top of another crystal shape? There ain't no way, is there? Well, we're going to have to tackle those challenges as they come, depending on the shape that the game gives us. And we might have to reorder some of the operations that we do, and it might be complicated. Like layers might have to read what's underneath and what's above them, and then change the order of operations but I don't know what the game's going to throw at us, so I can't really imagine what's going to happen. Because, like, for example, are certain shapes even possible? Like, if we take this shape and say we stack it on top of itself, so we can have, first of all, crystals that are multicolored in one layer, right? So how would you make a shape that would be like crystal green and crystal red like that in one shape? That's like impossible almost. And then if you had this shape and say this was not the first layer of shape, if that was on top of a, say, square like that, is this shape even possible to make? Because how would you make this and then stack it on top of the square? I don't see how that's possible. Will the game even give us a shape like that? Somebody told me that the random shapes that the milestone gives you, they will never have mixed color crystals on any single layer. And I think the first version of our crystal maker, we're going to use that as an assumption. And what I mean by that is that whatever shape we're trying to make for one layer, we're going to assume it's only going to be one color crystal. Right? That'll be the first stage of our crystal layer, and we're going to have to develop this crystallization process over and over again, depending on what the game throws at us. Like, what if you got a multicolored shape that was like, had pins underneath, and then you had to throw in a crystal layer? If you tried to throw in a crystallization process after the third layer is complete, it's going to fill all of these pins with crystals. So how would you make a shape that, say, in the middle layer, instead of having all pins, had like a couple of crystals, like this, for example? Like, would this shape even be possible to make? A shape with pins and crystals in the layer? I don't know. It seems very difficult at this stage. But we're going to have to troubleshoot all those problems as they come. But let's start out by doing one crystallization layer, assuming that the crystallization layer has to be all one color. So the first step is where we're going to do this. The belts that we've brought in currently have got 4 extractors worth of fluid. It's 7200 per liter here, but now in the new update it can support 2 more, and we're going to need those 2 more for our crystallizers. And we're going to be needing, potentially we might need to crystallize in any one of these 7 colors, right? So let's go and quickly, I'm going to time lapse this, but I'm going to go quickly expand the capabilities of each one of these belts. I'll be right back. This might take some time. Guys, we are back. We've extended the capability of all of our fluids to be 10.8k now. That means after peeling off 4 belts worth, we still have 2 belts left, which is perfect amount for our crystallizer, almost as if the game developers knew we were trying to make a MAM. So the next step would be we need to select one of these colors to crystallize with. Remembering, we are going under the assumption that whatever shape that they're going to give us is only going to have, well, there's 2 assumptions. One, the color of the crystal will be always the same color. It's not going to be like crystal blue and crystal green like this, because how the hell would we possibly make this? And second assumption is going to be that there's not going to be a missing layer with the crystals. So we should be able to take whatever shape we have. If it contains a crystal layer, we should just be able to pump it through a crystal maker and it will just fill the whole thing with crystals, and it's not going to have some missing non-crystal part in it. Now, with those 2 assumptions under our belt, I believe the first thing that we need to do is create some sort of circuit that can identify whether our shape is even a crystal or not. So let's go back to our main home area and see how we can do that. Look at all these crazy circuits that we've built. You know what? Let me just keep making platforms for each of these test circuits. Now, why do I need this? So I think we need to analyze the shape as a whole, don't we? Let me pull the shape into our marker area so I can see it more clearly. So if we look at this, we need to look at the shape as a whole, because the crystal could be in any 4 of these quarters, right? So we're definitely going to need our input signal. Then we're going to need to split that signal into 4 to get the 4 quarters. We're going to need to virtually rotate them. One is unrotated, one is 2 rotations, one is 3 rotations. And then we're going to need to put it through the signal analyzer. There's no signal analyzer that can figure out whether, there's no simple way to figure out whether shape contains crystal or not. I don't think so. But let's put it through the shape analyzer and see what we get. So we just need to analyze the shape part for now. We don't care about the color, because we need like some sort of if statement to go, if it is a crystal, then I want the color. Why did this go in 4 different orientations? I don't understand. So this will give us our 4 quarters. You notice I'm not even doing displays anymore. I'm just testing it. Why are 2 of these just blank? What? Maybe I do need some displays. What the heck is going on? All right, I'm analyzing the wrong shape. We want to analyze operator shape, well, channel red's shape. Cool. So this gives us our 4 quarters of shape, right? And we need to test, is any of these shapes a crystal? So what is the code for a crystal? Uncolored. This is an uncolored crystal. Is that even like a shape code? Let me get a signal producer and do that. I think crystal is denoted by lowercase c. C-U. Is that crystal? No. Let me check this shape code. CB. CU. What? So you can't even get uncolored crystal. It doesn't like... Oh, I need dashes. Right. Right. Let's go CU dash 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 dash. There we go. That's an uncolored crystal static signal. So we need to compare that to each one of these 4 to see if any of them are indeed an uncolored crystal. Maybe I will give it some room. Let's just give it a lot of room. I always never give myself enough room to work. Recurring issue in the series. Something I never learn from. So that way I can see some of these shapes, because I thought I could do this without looking at the shapes, but I'm not that clever. So we're going to have to visualize as we go. There's nothing wrong with that. Now we need to compare that signal to this static, is this a crystal signal? So we're going to use a logic gate for equals there, and then we will get the output of these signals and see what the hell they say. These are just going to be 1s and 0s, right? So these are 1s and 0s, I believe, but let me just confirm that. Yeah, 1 1 0 0, and that's perfect because we can just we can OR all 4 of these signals. Then that's basically going to give us a single signal that goes, is this shape containing a crystal? Yes, I believe that is right. I believe that is right. So if we go here, is this or this? So if we get our logic gate for OR, we can just put one down like that. And then we go, is this or this? Then yes. And then we can just copy that over down here. Is this or this? And then we can do that one more time and go, is this or this? Then that should give me, does my shape contain a crystal? So we can test that by putting in, oh wait, operator shape 0 doesn't have a crystal. So if we get operator shape 0, it goes, nope, that shape doesn't have a crystal. If we go operator shape 1, it goes, yep, that shape does have a crystal. Great. Now, given that this has a crystal, we need to output. The crystal is always the same code, right? So what happens if we let me just copy this. Now we need to know the crystal's color. So for example, if I just copy this on, well, let me just copy this whole platform so I don't lose my work. I need to know if it is a crystal, what color is the crystal? So, well, I wish there was an easy way to do like if statements here, but basically how would we do that? How would we get the correct color we want? This is all going to be a logic circuit episode, I feel like. I can definitely do this in code of any kind, but doing it using AND and OR gates, that trips me up. I don't work with logic circuits, as you can imagine, in my data engineering job, but I'm sure we can logic this out somehow. So basically, this is the circuit. What would happen if I just combined these 2 signals? Would it not just give me the same signal because these 2 are crystals? No, it gives me a 1. It no longer gives me the signal. It just says there are a signal in here. So how do I check? I only want this color of this specific one if it's a crystal. Maybe we don't want to do all 4 at the same time. Maybe we need some sort of like check if that's a crystal, and if that's a crystal, then give me the color. Otherwise, give me a null signal using some sort of gate, maybe. So that is a crystal. So given that crystal, we need to turn on some sort of gate. So this is going to be the gate control. So the color signal is coming in here, but I only want to release the color signal if this is the thing. So this is the color that I want, right? And then if we need to test this with different sections of the shape. So we'll put this back in, but not with the OR gates. Do I have enough room to do this? Not just enough room. So cool. Now I've got 4 signals, right? I need to test whether this is possible with a shape with a color. Let me just get this code, and let me type it in using a static signal. That way I can control it. So what if this was like not uncolored? Because currently it's oh no, it is working with uncolored. Otherwise, if I didn't have this gate, this would come out as uncolored, right? Yeah. Okay, so it is working. Which is great. So these are giving null signals and these are giving blue signals. And if we assume, wait, if we get a blue signal and a blue signal, does that give me a 1? It's going to give me a 1. It's not just going to, oh no, blue signal plus blue signal is still blue signal. Then why is this shape and this shape together not still this shape? It shouldn't, what? I guess colors behave differently to shapes. This is so weird. Is that like a thing that I should test? I don't care. But then what happens if we join these now with these signals with nothing in them? It's still a blue signal. So that's cool. Then that basically just goes, if there is a crystal in my shape, then give me a color of that crystal. Then if there's no crystal in my shape, so if we get rid of the crystal sections in the shape, that should just give me a null signal, right? Perfect. Then if there are crystals, so if we, oh no, you can't undo the signal, damn it. Paste that in there. So that's our signal. It's going blue. So what happens if we had 2 different colored crystals? I think now it would just give us an error, but we're going with the assumption that you can't have 2 different colored crystals. See, now we got conflict because one is green and one is blue. So that's fine. I don't care about that scenario. But what happens if we now just pipe in a regular shape? So we pipe in just a regular shape on channel 0. Then it's a null signal because that has no crystal. Excellent. So if this signal is null, it basically tells me it's not a crystal and it should bypass the crystal coloring array. Perfect. So this is the logic circuit that I need. I don't need this simple check of whether crystals exist or not. I can directly check the color of the crystal were one to exist. So yeah, and then if I just merge that signal, it will just give me the final color. This logic circuit is absolutely massive. I'm just seeing if I can collapse it a little bit. I mean, technically, if I were to remove these displays, I could collapse it all one tile, but I feel like I really want this display and I need that display here. What if I put the display here? Would that be useful to me at all? It just tells me the full shape rotated. Doesn't really help me whatsoever. I think I'll just leave it with the displays in there. Form factor is not super important. I just need to know that this wire now tells me the answer that I need for whether, it tells me 2 answers. One, whether we need to go through the crystallizing process or whether, and also what color, if we do need to go through the crystallizing process, what color do I need to be? And I don't think form factor matters because we're going to do some sort of variation on our painting circuit for the color selector, right? So it's going to be like this thing at the end over here somewhere, and we don't need to peel, or we don't need to peel the layers, but we do need to, because one platform can't handle 2 belts worth of input, right? Because you're limited by 1800 per thing here, and this is actually double that because there's 2 belts worth of fluid in here. So we need to split off our fluid into 2 separate fluids. Oh lord. So we're gonna need to peel again, which is fine because we can just peel the same way we've always peeled, like this. Oh guys, give me a new mouse. I can't even shift click and hold anymore. Maybe we should give it like a little bit of room to just indicate, okay guys, this is no longer the same process. We can collapse it all back later when we've figured everything out, but I just want to give it a little bit of room for now, just because I haven't figured anything out yet. I don't know how much room I might need. So this will select it does it twice, but I don't see an easier way to do this. Wait, why am I not just copying this whole thing? Can I select? Yep, thank you. So if we do that, why is there a kink here? I copied it with a weird kink. Yeah, so this is controlled by this brain at the moment, but we need a slightly more complex brain than that for this crystallizing process, which is the one that we've made now. Over here, which is this brain. And we'll have this receive back on channel 0 so I don't get confused. We'll have a display at the end of it as well so I don't get confused. So I need this somewhere to connect to my wires, and we'll just put it anywhere, I guess. It doesn't really matter. We just need the final output signal to go back up over here somewhere. Cool. So now it's selecting blue, the color of my crystal, based on this logic circuit over here, which is correct. And then this blue, and then this needs to do this again. And I don't need a shape out anymore, so I don't need this section yet. I'll leave some space because I don't know where the crystallizing process should occur. Where is this outputting the blue to? Over here. So I feel like this needs to be flipped the other way, maybe? Because it has nothing to do with these shapes, so why am I doing it here? So what if we, this way? Does it work the same way? I mean, I need to align the belts differently, but essentially it works the same way, right? Oh no, I need to align all the belts differently. Damn it. I mean, I can make the belts just connect into each other like this, indicating that it is a slightly different process. And the order of what color comes in here doesn't matter. What I need is the output of this. And then I can copy this over again for the second, because remember, crystal layers need 2 things, so we need to do something like that, and this should be the final output because there's no more color left in these belts. So we need to cut these cables, cut these pipes, then it won't split off unnecessarily because it's going to keep trying to split, see, and that's going to cause issues for us. So we definitely need to cut these pipes. We'll leave the little things. We'll do cleanup at the end. Let's get the functionality down first. We don't need to edit the logic circuit in any way, shape, or form because this logic circuit is basically doing the same thing twice to handle 2 full output worth of color. We'll give it a name. We'll call this is crystal color, right? We need to merge these 2 outputs together, and it is giving us blue now, which is excellent. So we need to merge these 2 back together somehow. Then we need to bring this color over to here, where our shape is being produced, the final stage of the shape being produced. Now it needs to determine whether this shape needs to be crystallized or not, or just go straight through without crystallizing. So we're going to need to split this. There needs to be some sort of logic platform here to go, all right, this is not the right thing. Why is this not producing any shape at all? And why hasn't it been? I expected it to be producing this shape, but why is it stuck? Oh, this logic circuit needs editing because it's going, does this side have a shape? Yes. Oh no. Oh no. We need to treat crystal shapes like a nothing. Okay, I guess we have to fix this first because this one's going, all right, is the top left, bottom right, and etc. Do you guys exist? And also, if it exists, then it's going to stop. It's going to try to merge with it because it thinks this crystal, something exists there. So each one of these circuits, additional to what they're doing, is also going to need to check if it's a crystal. And if it's a crystal, it needs to output a null signal. Oh my god. So over here, I don't have enough space on this platform to do this. I'm going to have to like tack on an extra little platform for now, and then we'll figure out how to clean this up a bit. But we can see that definitely the spacing is not going to be enough. So here we're going to have to figure out a modification to this signal to bypass the fact that there's crystals that exist, right? Oh shoot, this platform might not even be big enough. We need a huge extension on this platform to do this little logic circuit. Great. All right. So what are in these wires? I need to know what are in these wires. Give myself plenty of room to work because I think this is going to need to do that crystal check that we just did. But we've figured it out before, we'll figure it out again. All right, let's put in some displays and see what all these parts are. Cool. So each one of these needs to check if it is a crystal. If it is a crystal, then it needs to stop. So it needs a gate. I feel like gates are basically my if statement, aren't they? So we're gonna pass the signal through if it's not a crystal. So maybe I'll put even more space here. So we're gonna check. Oh, maybe we should check it before we rotate it back to normal. So we need to move all of this back a little bit to give it plenty of room. I think 2 spaces of room was enough for everything. Alright, definitely changing my mouse after this episode, guys. Definitely changing my mouse. Yeah, I think I need a whole new platform to deal with this logic. Holy moly. Alright, so basically we're gonna go, and this one's one too far. So with this pre-rotated signal, so this final signal has to be the rotated signal as per normal. Put the rotation at the very end so we can work with the unrotated signal. Why is this not going in like some specific order? Because the order didn't matter in this case, did it? Oh no, it's reverse rotating. Yep, that's fine, because this one doesn't need rotation. Technically, this one should have 4. So I just visually looked weird. Okay, so now I have the rotated signal. At the end of these signals needs to be a gate to see whether that signal passes through or not, controlled by a check whether it's a crystal. So we need to check the unrotated shape. So these should be all the unrotated shapes, right? Yeah, and we need to check, is that equal to a crystal? So we have our check at home, right? Or near our this. This is basically the same check as this. And where can we put that check? Something like that. So we basically need to check, is this signal equal to a crystal? That will control this gate. And we need to reverse it at some point to go, is it not, if it's not a crystal, allow the signal through. If it's not a crystal, allow the signal through. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm not able to like left click at all, guys. This is crazy. Great. So you see how these 2 signals are now not being let through? Then now we can collapse this back together and we can do the thing it was doing at the very end. Oh god. Can't wait to do the optimization for this, guys. To collapse it all back into a nice, neat little thing. So now if we do that, oh my god. Is there a way I can like left click hold without left clicking hold? Okay. This signal now should give me the correct signal. I think. I don't know. There's only one way to find out, right? There's only one way to find out, and that is by deleting that, running my signal wire through here, and connecting it back up to this thing. Now it'll do the bypass. Let's see, that is working now, I believe, and our shape is coming through. Excellent. Our uncrystallized shape should be coming through at full capacity, and we need to determine whether this shape needs to just go out because it's a normal shape that doesn't require crystallizing, or whether it needs to go into some sort of crystal making stage. So we need a platform, and we can just probably do it on a 1x1. I don't expect this logic to be too difficult. It's basically this one that we already built earlier, right? The one that's like, is there a crystal in here? What is that? Sorry, home. It's basically this circuit, right? I believe it is. Well, this circuit is actually massive though. Can we compress this circuit? Let's go back to home and let's compress this circuit. This one definitely can be compressed. Let's see how. I don't need particularly visualizers for this. This AND gate, well, we can definitely compress it one line up. Let me just get rid of this final OR gate. And let's try to pull this up 1. That definitely helps a lot. You can imagine we do this for each one of these. And I'm just seeing if there's a way we can like orient this better. Not really. That has to be there. And then the wires go in and out like that. So that says, yes, I do have crystals inside this thing. We can center this part. Now, does this need to be that big? Yes, because, well, we can collapse 1 like that. Every bit of space counts. I think this is as collapsed as we can get. Do we need 2 lines here? I guess this can come in 1. And then it can go up. Yeah, because we need one thing for the out. If we do that and then flip this like that, that check still works. I just need the wire to go here. So these two, are they crystals? Why are they coming out as not? Oh yeah, no, these are not crystals. So that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, why does this not parallel to this? Let me just delete this. I can't figure out in my brain why that's doing that, but let's do something like that. Ah, no, I see an issue. Okay. I need to either expand it out that way or that way. It's fine. But either way, it's not going to be symmetrical anymore. So we'll just leave it like this. It works. It's small enough. Look, we can do optimization and beautification at some point later on. But right now, let's just see if this works. Okay, this thing takes up an entire platform just for the logic circuit. So let's make its own logic circuit thing over here. And then we can get this to determine, so the wire will come in, and then this wire will determine whether this belt, maybe we'll do the logic circuit on the other side, would be smart. This wire will determine whether it goes out or this way. So we need a belt, 4 belts, and they need to go through some sort of belt feeding mechanism that splits the belt into 2 different directions. We've done this a million times, but I'm not familiar with it, so I'm just going to go through the exercise again. Belt filter. So if this signal is a yes, then we want it to go on the right. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll figure out the directionality in a bit. But essentially, we need something like that. And then we need to go jump it out or jump it in. It doesn't matter. Either way, we can get the signal. We'll get the signal in from like that. Then we can get the belts in like this, and then the belt out needs to do something. Is this why we stagger it? Because the belt out actually needs to go somewhere. Then maybe we should just jump the belt into. Oh god, there's not enough space. Well, we can jump that belt. We have to not jump these belts. Something like that. That and that. Then these need to go out. Can this jump this? It can. Can this jump this? It can. Can this jump that? It can, kind of. This jump is not big enough. Oh my god. Let me just put this on a 2x1 platform. I can't be bothered compacting this right now. I might be doing this in the dumbest way possible, but I'm trying to like be efficient where I can be efficient and at the same time not be too terrible with these builds. But yeah, like I don't want to waste too much time just doing this sort of stuff. Because you didn't come here to see me do belt work. You came here to see me do MAM stuff, right? So that'll get my output. That'll get these out. Can these even go out? Doesn't matter which one goes out where. Yep, these can go out. Not the prettiest way it goes out, but that should work. Let me just see if this actually works, because I need to figure out the directionality of the signal. I believe at some point it needs to be knotted. Because this is an on signal, and an on signal will allow it to go forward, but I want the on signal to make it go sideways into my crystallizing array. So we definitely need a NOT gate. So let's chuck that in. We'll wire that up through here, just like that. And now it's going all into the side gate because it says, yes, we need crystals. So now that it's going into the side gate, I'm just going to give it, I know we shouldn't use belts, but I want to use belts for clarity purposes. But we don't need to use belts because this is definitely just for crystallizing, right? So if we bring our crystallizing blueprint from my blueprint redesign series, let me just take this part of it. So the shape comes in here. So we need to shift F it, no, F flip it, and then the liquid comes in here and the output goes out there. Perfect. So this liquid is from both. Excellent. So I just have to bring it in and split it, right? I believe that is it. And then we just get the shape out. And we just, whoop, that's not a shape belt. We need a space belt out, and that just merges with that. Because otherwise, if it's not going through crystallizing, then it's just going to go through bypass. And there we have it, our final shape that is matching our blueprint. So we're going to let that run for a while. And when this shape completes, we'll see if it can handle the next shape. So I will be right back as this completes, and we'll see if our design works. I think our design works for now, right? For now. But yeah, This is just the start, guys. Don't get too optimistic. This is the simplest possible way you can do crystal making, assuming a lot of things. Our assumptions, remember, is that the crystal can only be one color and it fills all gaps. There can't be like a gap in the crystal layer at all. Alright, be right back. Alright, we're back and we got our milestone completed. Let's see what the next milestone is. It is, okay, does this follow our theory? It does, because this shape is, all the gaps are filled and it's all one color of crystal. So let's see if our MAM can switch gears and do that. And it'll be very interesting for me to time this to see how long it takes my MAM to switch shapes. So we'll see. While we're waiting, now that the shape has changed, maybe we should make sure we definitely set all these to correct, because I'm not seeing any purple coming out. Oh wait, nope, it is coming out. It's just taking a while to flush. So it has switched to purple. We are ensuring we're getting it from the right channel. So purple is coming through, but I think the blue needs to flush out first. There's nowhere to flush colors, unfortunately, so it just needs to paint, and I think it's not flushing because it's got nothing to crystallize at the moment, which means it's going to come out with the right shape first, hopefully. But the shape appears to be jammed as well. Is it jammed? Maybe there's something wrong with my pinning layers. Let me just double check that. So nothing's coming through here. Nothing is coming through here. Oh, right, I'm silly. I didn't even put this onto 3 layers, Lord. Let me do that first, and then we'll see. Put it on all 3 layers, and we'll get rid of this logic signal here, because we just want to take it from the bottom signal, and we'll bring it up. So we'll get a wire, we will bring it up 1. It's too much to ask I just do everything right on the first go, isn't it? So we'll let that go through. Well, yeah, because the shape has changed. Why does it think it's not a crystal shape? Oh, channel red. It is a crystal shape, and then it's getting... Oh, right. What the heck? What happened to my thing here? There we go. Now it is a crystal shape. Now go through the crystallizer and make more crystals and drain out the rest of the crap. Now, something else is still jammed over here because I don't see any shapes coming through anywhere. Why? Is the shape being produced? Let me pin the milestone shape. It's all going to be MAM troubleshooting from now on, guys. I think we've pretty much done with the first layer, with the restrictions, of course. But if we put that in, let's have a look. So our selectors are selecting the top right shape. The top left is blank. The bottom thing is not selecting the correct shape. Are these like mixed up or something? How was it selecting the correct shape before? This is bottom left. Oh no, this is selecting the correct shape and it is coming out. I think it's just jammed somewhere. Yeah, it is jammed somewhere. We'll figure out where it's jammed, but it is selecting the correct shape. That's fine. And this one is a crystal layer, which is selecting hopefully no shape, but it is currently jammed, but it is also selecting no shape. Then it's getting painted through the painting array, which is fine. And then it must be something to do with this or the combinator. So this is fine. The shape is going through and then it's getting merged, hopefully with nothing. I think I see. The same logic that applied that we did for the other thing we need to do for this, because it's trying to merge the shape. But unfortunately, it's not able to merge the shape because there's nothing that it to merge with, because it's trying to merge with a crystal layer on the top half, right? So we need to do the same treatment we did here, which is check the pre-rotated circuit against one of these. Oh man, and then not the signal. Maybe we can fit that over here somehow. So this is the rotated shape, and then it's just going through an AND gate. But we need to check both signals before we set it through the AND gate. Okay, that's fine. We'll just make sure it gets through the knot. I think I can fit it in here, guys. I'm not sure, but I think I might be able to fit it. I don't know. I don't think I can fit it in here. You know what? Let's just attach 2 more platforms to do that logic. Holy moly. Let's take this. I could probably fit it in there. I don't want to. So let's analyze this again. Then this is rotated. This is our signal analyzer. We can collapse this a little bit and just go but we've rotated the signal, and then we go, is either of these signals one of these things? All right, cool. I think I know what I'm doing now. We need to check if either one of these things is a crystal. And then that needs to pass through a gate, right? Of some sort. Just like that. And then if it's a crystal, then we will not pass it through the gate. Then whatever the result of that is, that signal needs to be checked against this. And if that's not the case, then we allow it to pass. And then we AND these two signals. See how one is on and one is off now? That means it's correctly done. Can we ampersand that signal? Ampersand? No, it's not an ampersand, it's an AND gate. Something like that. And then this is the correct signal, and we need to NOT that signal, right? Because we had a NOT gate at the end. I'm sure I can fit this onto the platform somehow. It's like a little bit janky. It's possible. Oh no, because of the jump here, it's... yeah. Alright, no worries. No worries. Is no worries an Australian term? Wait, why can't I... what's happening with my shift button now? Everything's broken. Excellent. Love it. I think we just bring that signal in, right? And now it will correctly bypass. Excellent. Now it's bypassing, I believe, instead of trying to stack it. Cool. That's working. And we need to do the same treatment for the bottom half. And the bottom half and the top half are exactly the same, except they are... not that they're rotated, but we need to just do the rotations here, I believe. So if we get rid of that, copy that over. Oh, we'll just copy this one over. It's already got the text. Then we just need to put the appropriate rotations. One needs 2 rotations and one needs 3 rotations. So we need to bring all of this out one tile and put another... oh, not that as well. That. And put another rotator on. And that should give us the correct signal. We need to get rid of this stuff. And just bring that signal in, and that should allow the bypass as well. Oh my god, we had to fully modify our combinators to allow for this crystal process. I feel like this is going to happen a lot. Imagine changing all the crystal processes. Oh man. But this is what it's all about, guys. This is what MAM design is all about. This series is not a how to build a MAM. This is a discovery series where we troubleshoot one error at a time. I'm going to run into all sorts of issues, guys. And as we run into them, we're going to solve them. So nothing to be afraid of. All right, we'll let that shape go through. Why is that thing doing a blue? Where did that blue star even come from? Like, and in what world was any of this blue? I believe, yeah, okay. I believe it's because these paint selectors would also try to select the color of the crystal at some point, right? But in theory, there's no shape to paint. But everything should be flowing now. So I'm going to let that run. I'm going to see if it can complete this shape off by itself, or whether I've got more bugs to troubleshoot and fix. Oh man, it's going to be a long process, guys. Long process, but we'll get there. We promise we'll get there. Alright, it looks like it's flushed most of the shapes, but I don't know why it is giving me this weird emerald shape all the time. I feel like there's something wrong with my selector back here. Why should I ever see an emerald? It didn't ever change from an emerald. Where is emerald coming out of? What the heck is going on? There's no emerald coming out of here. There's only stars coming out of here. There's only squares coming out of here. Where did an emerald come from? What? There's only stars coming out here and squares coming out here, which is correct. And then there's only stars coming out here and squares coming out here. Why is there weird purple stars over here? Where is this coming from? This is coming from nothing. Nothing is coming out here. Are purple stars actually coming out here? They are. They're getting flushed, but... and it's only coming out of 2 belts for some reason. What the heck is going on? I think this is just like a residual crap in the system. Yeah, definitely need to do some sort of flushing thing to sort this out. I think it's the combinator. When these 2 old shapes that used to get stacked are now going through the bypass together. See how it's like 2 belts merging into one, and it's taking like twice as long to flush this crap out before it can get rid of the shape. See, there's no new shapes coming through, right? It does end, but see how long it takes for that to end? Oh man, that's not good. And then it's going to take ages before we're going to get the correct shape, because it's got to flush through all that crap first. So yeah, our MAM is definitely slow as hell, but it's getting there. It is getting there. It is trying to bypass some of these correct shapes with the incorrect shape. But also, a lot of this slowness comes from the fact that I'm editing the logic. halfway through the MAM trying to do its thing. I'd love to time, maybe I will do a timing at the end of this episode when this shape completes till the start of the next shape, like how long that takes. So that's the full transition process, right? When this shape is finished delivering to when the new shape starts getting like appearing. Oh, I see it. I saw one shape that was like correct. But I'll just let that run. We'll time lapse through this and you guys can see this shape slowly evolve into the correct shape. I have no idea where emerald came from. Like there's no emerald in this shape and there was no emerald in the last shape. So at what point in this MAM stage did it ever pick emerald for some reason? What the heck is going on? Weird. Alright guys, we're back and this shape has just completed, as you can see. And now our MAM needs to flush and make this shape, which is still follows our rules. There's no empty slot when there's a crystal and the crystal is all one color. So let's see how long it takes to do this. And I guess I can probably edit in a timer maybe. I'll try my best. I'm not really good at editing, but yeah, if I edit in a timer and then I time lapse it, you should be able to see the exact time it takes for my MAM to work at the moment. Maybe it'll be 20 minutes, who knows. Alright guys, it's been 5 minutes and it still doesn't look like it's producing the correct shape that I need. So let me figure out, is there any bugs? Oh man, this is taking forever to troubleshoot, but that's the aim of the game. Why is it doing this? Alright, let's start from the start. Is it producing my correct quarter shapes? So this is the first quarter, that's correct, that's blank, yes, and that's correct. It's going through the painters and it's all coming out of the painters bypasses, which is correct because all of them are uncolored. Then it's going through the pin selector and it's all correctly going into the stacker. Now, what is this stacker doing? This stacker is sending them through the bypass. Yep. And this stacker is sending them through the bypass also. Why is this trying to send both shapes through the bypass? Is this a crystal? No. Is this a crystal? No. This and this. So send the signal through. Is this a crystal? No. Then it turns it off. Is this meant to be opposite? Oh man, did I do this wrong? If this is equal to a crystal, then turn this off. How did my other one work then? Oh my lord, this has been wrong the whole time. Alright, cool. That's fine. We'll get our NOT gate. Then that is a signal and that is also a signal. That's right? So the shape comes through, it asks it, are you a crystal? And it's not a crystal. If it is a crystal, then we want to block the signal. If it's not a crystal, then we want the signal to go through. So how does this work then? Because that one of these is a signal. What the heck is going on? The bottom half has the crystal. I don't understand how the bottom half is working. Then that should also be giving the wrong answer, right? This is yes and yes. Interesting. I believe that will give the correct answer. One is a crystal, one is not a crystal, and then it reverses and that reverses. Now it'll stack. Oh god. What a terrible thing. Alright, I think I fixed that one, but this would have the same bug, would it not? Because this is checking. Oh, these are being knotted. They're being knotted over here. It's just I didn't see. Oh my god. Silly logic gaps. We just got lucky our last one was working. But I believe that should work now. We are getting the correct shapes parts in. It was just sending it down the wrong bypass. Now they are correctly sending it into the right bypass. So we'll have to test it with a timer again after this shape to see if it can make the next shape by itself. I'm gonna double check this shape is indeed coming out correctly now. Or we're getting some shapes coming out correctly. Make sure it's coming out correctly here. That's definitely the top half. And that's definitely the bottom half. And then is that correctly saying that? Is there some interference with this if it's coming out? No, this should be fine because it's sending the signal through and. Yes. That is what we want, right? Needs to flush some of the crap out from the old shape, but then it should go through and eventually stack. I see these two should start stacking. There we go. Now I see a correct version of my shape. It's in the wrong rotation, but that's what this rotator does, isn't it? Yes, I see the correct shape. Excellent. So we're going to get some of the correct shape, and when that completes, I will do a time lapse with a timer to see how long it takes my MAM to change. Now you can really see the disadvantage of the inefficiency of the belts, right? The longer your belts, the longer it takes between each iteration every time a shape changes, and the longer it takes me to sort of debug and fix any like minor bugs in the system. It's just a really long process. This game is a test of patience. I mean, better programmers than me out there probably could do all this correctly in the first go. But for me, I mean, it's always just a test and learn, you know, test, learn, iterate, modify. And that's how it goes. There's probably something wrong with my white as well. Like, it's not fully getting a belt of white somehow. White is like really struggling here. What is going on? It looks like it's getting a full belt of white. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have no idea. Is this a full belt of white? Is this what a full belt of color looks like? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's a full belt of color. But yeah. Oh, I mean, you can look at this to see if it's a full belt, right? But I can't really tell because there's gaps in this belt too. There's gaps in the shape. Well, now we're getting a full shape input. And hopefully that gives a full shape output too. But we are getting the correct shape. So it will eventually tick over, and then I will do another time lapse with a timer on how long my MAM takes to switch over, because I'm really curious as well. I think it takes about 5 minutes at the moment, which is not horribly bad. I can live with 5 minutes. We'll turn it into an idle game and then we just AFK, right? I wonder if you need to click the milestone to get it to switch to the next milestone, but we're definitely delivering that shape. Alright guys, get ready. That shape is now done. So we'll claim that and let the timer begin. Alright guys, we're back. I think I saw one of our correct shape coming through just then. It flicked. Yep, there we go. That's the correct shape, and that's going to get painted. So how long did that take? According to my clock, that took about 10 minutes. So my MAM, that's the lag time in my MAM right now, guys. 10 minutes. That's the benchmark to beat when we start optimizing this process. We need to make sure our MAM happens faster than 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine, guys. That's fine. This part is definitely not slowing down my MAM, so I was going to think about bringing it a bit closer, but definitely this color switch is not it. I believe most of the slowdown happens in the combinator because it has trouble like bypassing and flushing out the shapes. So we're definitely going to implement the strategy that you guys gave me, which is have a platform that checks whether the shape is still the correct shape that it wants. And if it's not, then just immediately dump it into the trash and then pass an empty belt through, because otherwise it's going to take forever to flush anything out. We need bins. We need bins everywhere, guys. We need bins. But I think that's it for this episode, guys. We got our MAM working. We have a working MAM. Like, that's pretty cool, right? We've got a MAM. It did go through 3 shapes. I did have to bug fix through 2 of them. But this shape, I didn't touch at all. So from the last shape to this shape, I haven't changed anything. And it has correctly switched from the last shape to this shape. It just took 10 minutes to do that. But yeah, I think we'll leave it at that for this episode. It's probably running a bit long, so we've got a very basic crystal shape maker now working. So we can make all single layer shapes that include crystals and pins, I believe. So good start, good start. We'll have to see what else the game throws at us to decide where we go next. I think if we are going to leave it at that and start doing stacking, before we can do stacking, we need to create a staging area for all our incoming shapes, because we're going to need to quadruple everything that you see here. All these inputs need to be quadrupled to get 4 layers. So we definitely need to set up some sort of train hub system to bring in all the shapes and colors. We can't be belting it from across the bloody world anymore. So we'll definitely do that. And yeah, we're doing good progress, guys. I think we're doing good progress. Thank you all so much for all your feedback. A lot of your ideas, I hope you guys see it in the MAM. I've implemented definitely more than a few suggestions from you guys. A lot of it is, yeah, still my own design. I haven't looked up anything from any videos from any other YouTubers on the MAM, so I might be doing things inefficiently, but at least it's me doing it efficiently, and it's not stolen ideas from anyone. The only outside influence I get is from you guys. Let's see what our next shape is before we sign off. Yep, I think our MAM can totally handle that. I wish they'd throw in some color into some of these shapes with the crystal layer so I can properly test everything, but alas, that is fine. Alright guys, we'll leave it at that. If you've enjoyed the video, you can help my channel by liking and subscribing. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.